Welcome to the Media Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vadebacher.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
And I'm very happy to say, Kenton, that I'm coming home.
Oh! You have a brand new iPhone.
Yes.
Which number did you get?
I got the 6S.
Oh, so...
And it feels so good. It feels like I've been away for 2 years, and I haven't... Things have not been right, and now they are. And things are right again, that I have this device in my pocket.
Did you update to iOS 11?
Yes, I did.
Because I thought there were some bugs there.
I think there are. I think I'm having some issues.
And also, and we're doing a podcast right here, and maybe my least favorite change is the new layout for the podcast app. Did you see it?
Well, I don't know any of the things because I haven't had one for 2 years. So I don't know what the old layout was, although I know what the layout was 2 years ago.
Now it streams at the bottom. You have to flip through the old ones that you've listened to.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of a pain.
So that was kind of weird. It's already not like when I got up this morning, I knew there'd be certain podcasts that would have published overnight, and those I was not able to get them until a bit later.
Okay.
And I think it seemed like it was chugging away trying to pull those podcasts in, but having a little bit of trouble. And then I have iCloud Drive, which I pay separate for storage, and I used to have like a little preview of all my my presentations, and that's my keynote presentations is basically what I use it for, and all of those little previews are gone.
Okay.
So now I have to look at the file name, and those aren't always great.
See,
they're not always exactly. I didn't name them as clearly because I had a preview.
One of the newest additions is this Files app, which allows you to actually access the files in your phone, which you've never been able to do before. Right. Which is, I guess, kind of a copy of an Android thing, which has always been a case on Android where you can just dig into your files. I guess I can see, and they've even got the similar tags, the red, orange, yellow, like color-coded tags that you can use on your Mac. So that kind of goes together well. But I don't know how I'm going to use that. I'm very impressed with number one. Okay, so the reason I went with the 6S and not the 7, it was $50 for a 128 gigabyte 6S. So that's a pretty good deal.
Cheap.
Yeah, and so on the other side of that, the 7, 64 gig 7 was $179. So you know what I mean? And I just didn't see as many things about the 7 that I wanted. This thing has the fingerprint thing, which I've never had before.
Oh, that's neat. Once you get it takes a bit to get used to that. Yeah.
What is it? What is this? When I tap on it without pressing it, it does that. What does that happen? Like all the icons go down for some reason.
I don't think
I don't know what that is.
That.
You just tap on, just don't press it, just tap on it.
Mine did too.
What does it do?
I've never seen that before until you pointed it out to me.
I just discovered it by accident. So anyway, fingerprint ID, it's got the 3D touch, which I think is actually pretty cool. So that's kind of neat.
They already trained me to stop using it, so I don't use 3D touch. I mean,
I've been using it. It's kind of cool.
As an early iPhone adopter, I just got used to using it without 3D touch.
So they have that. Although most apps don't use it. Most apps, if you use it, just share the app. So that's the only option it gives you. But some apps do, like Facebook. You can actually go right to writing a post from here instead of having to launch the app, which is nice.
That's pretty good.
And Snapchat, no, it doesn't do anything. I can chat with somebody from Snapchat. And that's the other thing is that, and we're going to talk about social media today on the podcast. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because now that I have a phone that I can actually use with a working camera, I can actually post on Snapchat and Instagram.
You were on Instagram again, I know.
Basically, platforms I've been abandoning for the last 2 years, not 2 years, but since my camera lens got scratched on my old phone. I haven't really been able to post anything worth like looking at. So yeah, I have been posting on Instagram, and I haven't posted on Snapchat yet, but I'm working my way up to it. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with this. I think even Siri's become better since in the interim, since I haven't had an iPhone. The Siri's gotten better at just saying, you can just go, "Hey Siri."
Did you see the TV app?
It didn't work. I did see the TV app, but I faced the same problem where I need an actual remote to set up my Apple TV because I moved, so it's not set up, and I have to connect it to Wi-Fi before it's even going to work. So I don't have an Apple TV remote because I've lost it because I've gone through about 1 million of those. So man. I still need to get an Apple TV remote or a new Apple TV, which is what I'm probably going to get.
And I think it's Apple's first attempt at trying to control, like there it is, but you're trying to control the experience of showing you what you have started to watch across different apps.
Okay.
And then showing you so then you can just say to Siri, Siri, show me the next episode of whatever, and that's what'll happen.
Orville? Billy from Shaw was saying that he watched the Orville the other day.
Yeah.
Have you watched it yet?
No, I have not, but I heard the same complaint from a variety of sources, which is the first episode's funny, and then third episode's not funny.
I thought the third episode was pretty good, actually. And it was directed by Brandon Braga, who's a producer on the old Star Trek. I think Voyager was his show. He was a showrunner for Voyager. So they've got some actual Star Trek people involved with the Orville, which I think is kind of funny.
Oh.
Speaking of Star Trek, let's get into the nerd news. Okay, so of course the first story is that Star Trek Discovery premiered last night on CBS. Kenton's laughing because we've tried to do this 3 times now.
I didn't really watch it, so that was going to be my hilarious joke that didn't work.
So and I did, but again, it was 60 minutes went long. It was Oprah's first night on 60 Minutes, which is a big deal. They held there's a whole bunch of behind the scenes content over at CBS.com if you want to watch how Oprah's first week at 60 Minutes did. But because of that, she went long to 20 minutes. Maybe it was because of the football before. I didn't even think of that.
And not just that, it was the protest football, the special edition protest football, which goes longer.
Yeah, that's right. To add an extra 20 minutes for the people kneeling, or what do they do when they sit down when the flag is? How do they protest it?
There's many different ways we learned.
Okay. Anyways,
some people don't even come out of the changing room. It's totally up to you, but the first 20 minutes of the game is now dedicated to politics. And then the game itself doesn't start for a bit after.
Star Trek aired 20 minutes late. So it didn't start till about 10 to 8. It was supposed to start at 7:30. And as a result, my PVR cut off the end, so I didn't get the whole thing. But I did watch most of it, and again, I'm still waiting. It's supposed to be up on Crave TV later today. It still isn't there. So the first 2 episodes are supposed to be online, and that's what CBS is doing. Basically, they air the first one on TV, traditional television. It drew in about 9 million viewers, which is a pretty respectable premiere. I think that's not bad numbers these days. And then every other episode is available in the States on CBS All Access, which is their kind of Netflix. It's their Crave TV.
Everybody's trying to drive people to their special channel now and their special online channel.
They said that in the article I've got here, it said they had a record number of signups, although they won't say how many. It was a record day for signups.
So they said about the Twin Peaks thing too in the U.S.
What's that?
Record great for signups, but they never. I don't think we ever found out how many that was.
No, because I think the numbers are actually much less than they are for television ratings.
Well, for these days, the success is virtually nothing.
Right.
That's the weird thing.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought it was a pretty good episode. They've kind of revamped the Klingons like they do every single time. They have a new Star Trek iteration. One of your responsibilities is to make the Klingons look extremely different.
What do they look like now?
Oh, they look meaner. They're tall. They have more intricate makeup, I would say, on the head. They're all bald. There's no hair going on. So none of that 90s Star Trek: The Next Generation like big hair they used to have.
Dreadlocks.
Yeah. That was kind of the 90s version of the Klingons, and I guess the 80s as well. If you think of Christopher, what's his name? Is the
Christopher Lloyd? Was
Christopher
it?
Lloyd? Yeah, was the bad guy in Star Trek 3. Was it 3? Yeah, he was 3. So anyway, they're all bald, and they basically kind of look a little bit meaner, and that's kind of the deal. And they have interesting. I remember thinking it was an interesting choice for a font for their subtitles. It's like a serif font, which you never see. So I thought it was a weird choice. But again, I was focusing on the wrong things. It's very well put together, great special effects. I thought Sonequa Martin Green is excellent. She's a great performer. She's got a great character. And again, I didn't get the last 10 minutes, but from what I heard, it's been well received by critics and by fans. So we'll see where it goes. But I worry that the all access thing is going to cut down on their viewership. They're not going to get the success they're hoping for there. And they're probably giving up quite a few ad dollars to do that as well. So we'll see how long it lasts on just all access before they bring it up. We'll see them air they'll do a marathon before Christmas and then they'll put it on CBS after Christmas. I bet that's what's going to happen. So on to movie news. We had a new trailer last week for the Lara Croft Tomb Raider reboot, which is coming out next year. And have you seen it? Did you see the trailer for it?
No, I did not.
It looks pretty good.
Who's playing the role?
Alicia Vikander. She won an Oscar for The Danish Girl.
Oh.
Was it? Hold on here. She was in Anna Karenina. She was also in The Danish Girl. Yeah, she won an Oscar for that. And there was another one she was in. Oh, of course, she was the robot in Ex Machina. That's
wow.
You probably would have noticed her from that. Anyway, she is Lara Croft, and it's a very, very different tone and feel to the 90s or whatever that was. Angelina Jolie one.
I don't think I ever saw any of those.
No. It's pretty bad.
I played the game.
Oh, the game, of course. It was a classic game, but they rebooted the game in 2013. Kind of because the original character of Lara Croft was really just a girl with a tight shirt and big boobs and nothing, like there was nothing to that character, right?
Right.
And that was kind of
I think so. It was like Indiana Jones style.
Right, but it was like, let's put a hot girl there because we're a bunch of nerdy guys designing a video game, and I don't think there was much in the way of thought. So basically, this version of Lara Croft has been the actual. I have the thing here somewhere. It was written by the daughter of Terry Pratchett. Rihanna Pratchett was the person who wrote the game, and the game was the character was more in depth, and it was more about her journey and surviving whatever she's surviving. So this movie seems to be based on that more than the just the original video game. So it looks to have, it looks pretty good. I'll put the trailer up on our social media if you want to watch it, but it could be an actual. They could have created a good video game movie here because there's still, I don't think there's still ever been. Has there ever been a good video game movie?
I'm sure there was.
I can't think of one.
Not Prince of Persia.
but there was some. Not Silent Hill. Some people would say Silent Hill, but again, I didn't like that.
I do think there is one. I just can't think of it off the top
Traditionally,
of my head.
Movies based on video games have done very, very poorly. They're not. It's hard to adapt.
World of Warcraft was not good.
No, that was not good.
But I can't think of any. I think there was one though. If I could only think of what it was.
The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh no,
in the 90s, starring John Leguizamo and.
Was there a Donkey Kong film?
No, there was Pixels. Pixels had Donkey Kong in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, so that's kind of cool. So I think the trailer's worth checking out. I might go see it in the theater if it's a good summer movie season. It looks interesting anyway, and I'll just say that. That's pretty excited about that one. And still no Star Wars trailer, but we'll talk about that.
Maybe October 9th.
We'll talk about that.
Now
Star Wars
we're not even sure about that anymore.
Final story for the Nerd News. This has to do with a new series coming out from Marvel. So we're just a couple days away. On September 27th, the Marvel Legacy series will be released. Marvel Legacies is kind of the way Marvel Universe is basically retconning all its characters back to square one kind of thing. So they're basically taking everything that's happened in recent years, all the new character development, they're actually just kind of rebooting the whole thing. So like Peter Parker will be back at the Daily Bugle being a reporter, all those other things that they've basically written themselves out of these for decades now. All these situations, all these storylines, they've kind of run out of, I think they've run out of steam. So they want to return the characters back to their original roots and then start again. Anyway, so there's a new series coming out, Marvel Legacy, and of course they're doing the gimmicky alternate covers thing, which is nothing new to comic books. I remember collecting alternate covers when I was a kid and muttering under my breath the whole time because I just spent twice as much on a comic book, but you had to have them, right? The interesting thing about this is that they're kind of what is it called? Lenticular. You know those ones where you kind of you move it and it shifts. You can see different photos in it or different images. They're limiting. Okay, so if a comic book store wants to carry the lenticular covers, the special edition covers, which are really the only ones that people are going to want, they have to buy twice as many of the regular comic books than they normally would. So a comic book store usually buys 10 copies of Captain America, regular cover. They have to order 20, and then they'll be allowed to order their lenticular covers, which is probably the only ones they're going to sell anyway. So it's like Marvel's asking these stores to take a hit financially. I don't understand it. I don't understand why they're doing this. It seems to be kind of a cash grab. It's like we want to guarantee this gets to a certain amount of books sold, so they're kind of forcing the vendors to do this. So as a result, I think you're going to find a lot of the local comic book shops, mom and pop shops, aren't going to carry those ones. They're going to just carry the regular, whatever they normally carry, because why would you?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
What do you think about them rebooting the Marvel Universe?
Oh God, again?
Again? When did they do it last time?
Well, isn't that the nature of the beast, that it's always being rebooted?
Well, DC did it a few years ago with the New 52. That was their way of rebooting everything and kind of restarting the whole timeline. I mean, it's kind of necessary in this, and something that's been around as long as comic books, or like 75, getting on to almost 100 years of characters that they've been writing about every month. You have to do something to reinvigorate the
I guess I was thinking more in terms of, from time to time, Wolverine is dead.
Yes.
Or like they sort of rebooted that way, where they kill off everyone's favorite character, they get a ton of publicity for it, and then inevitably that character will return.
The famous Superman is dead. Yeah, remember that one? That was like we all thought he was legit dead.
And buy 3 comic books about 3 different people who could be the new Superman.
Right.
That?
Yeah.
And it was like you're voting or something by buying when you bought the comic. It was like a vote for that, and then it didn't matter anyway.
No, because they brought him back, and it was just stupid. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think readers kind of feel frustrated by those types of I guess marketing tactics. But yeah, I think when you're running out of when you've written about all these, you've written like Peter Parker is grown up and he's married to Mary Jane Watson, and he's a beyond just being kind of a photographer of the Daily Bugle, there's only so many stories you can tell. Whereas, and other than him just being Spider-Man, I mean, the Spider-Man side of it is like he can be whatever. But as far as his personal life, there's sometimes you want to go back to that kind of square one when he was just a kid, a teenager, taking photos for the Daily Bugle and getting yelled at by J. Jonah Jameson. And you can write some really cool stuff, I think, that has not been touched. Yeah. So it's a similar, familiar setting, but there's an opportunity there to write new stories there. And I think I'm kind of excited about it. I will not be buying the lenticular cover. I don't care about that anymore. But I will be picking up, I'll be picking up a few of these just to see what it's all about.
Well, they're still trying, they're still doing things to make people want to buy that thing.
Yep.
And so, it makes sense to me that they're doing it, but I just don't. Once you get to a certain age, you've seen the reboots so many times, or the special collectible blank. These days magazines take it to extremes.
Oh yeah, how many covers for the Star Wars? Right, there's a bunch of different covers for Star Wars: The Last Jedi from Entertainment Weekly, I think.
Yeah,
they always do that.
And people used to want to collect them all, and I was the same. I want every cover, but then you got to the point where why am I buying? I know why I am, because they want me to. They want me to buy the same content 3 times.
Yeah.
And it looks good on the balance sheet, but it doesn't really do much. What are you then supposed to do as a collector? Put it in a frame or put them in a frame together?
I don't know.
It just seems...
Yeah, it's just silly.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I'm sure it's going to be a big deal, and it's going to get lots of publicity, and they're going to sell tons of issues, but their tactics are kind of just off here, and I don't think that kind of stuff works that much anymore.
Well,
especially in the digital world, right? It's hard enough to buy, as you're saying, it's hard enough to get people to buy a physical comic book anyway.
Yeah.
And honestly, comic book sales are dwarfed by the film figures of the movie from those movies that they're based on. That didn't sound right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the movies make way more money than the comic books do. So they're never going to get there anyway. But they're trying to. I guess they're trying to kind of make this a big deal.
Yeah.
And it kind of happens outside the realm of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or DC Universe or anything like that. So. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's about it for the nerd news.
All right.
Good roundup there. We'll be right back with our main topic, which is going to be social media. It's our state of social media discussion, which we have every year on Media Nerds Podcast. Let's talk about social media. The reason I want to talk about this is just because I have a new phone. I'm able to kind of jump in. I have not been on Snapchat in months. And I kind of checked it out over the weekend after I got my new phone. Instagram, I've been on there more as an observer than a poster, but I started posting again on Instagram because I have a new phone. And I just thought it's a good time to talk about to social media. I've got an article here that says, where is it here? Instagram now has 8 million monthly and 500 million daily active users. That's insane. Does that surprise you at all?
That was Instagram?
800 million users on Instagram every month.
Every month, yeah, that's tons. That's insane.
Yeah, but it's almost as much as Facebook.
Well, Facebook was brilliant to buy it.
Yeah,
that's really played itself out for them. And how many posts are now sponsored posts? That's there's more than ever.
It says here. Does it say the? 2 million advertisers on the platform, which is up from. So it's basically doubled since last March. Most of that growth has come from SMBs. I don't know what that is. They're writing to the tech audience who knows what that means, and I don't know what it means. But
maybe I should know what it means. I just can't think of it right now, but I can't.
Anyway, so they're growing. Instagram. And when I talk to students, frequently they say Instagram is their favorite social media platform.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been this big had Facebook not purchased it?
I think it was going all guns blazing at the time, because I started using it long before Facebook ever bought it.
Me too.
And what Facebook didn't change that much about it. I mean, it did ultimately add the stories across the top, and I'm still not sure that I want that there, but people do.
Blatant ripoff of Snapchat, but people don't seem to care.
Yeah, so they did. Facebook did that, and they have changed the order of the posts.
Yeah, they got the algorithm going on.
Yeah.
Yesterday I liked one of your posts from last week.
I know but that's the thing. I don't think we want that. I don't think we want the crazy Facebook algorithm ever again.
Yeah. Well, I still have some complaints about Facebook, but I guess I don't mind it so much on Instagram because I still saw the post. It was your kind of montage of all your students going off to Red Lobster and taking photos of themselves at Red Lobster, which is like something I still wanted to see. It doesn't matter. It was 6 days ago. I still saw it and I still liked it.
But what you start to find is like I follow the Winnipeg Jets on there, and I love the stuff that they post on there. But the problem is that by definition, a sports team is going to get tons of likes. And so if I don't look at Instagram for a couple days and then I log in, it's like big goal like last Monday by the Winnipeg. Like so for something like that, you already know what happened if you follow the team, and I don't need to see it again.
But they post it with the people in mind who are like on the day of, right? They're posting it just for the people who are going to see that post on the day they like right away, because there is still that element where you do see a certain percentage of it is stuff that happened right away. So for those people that see that post, they're like, yes, right on. So but again, 3 days later it doesn't matter. So there's some kind of weird, I don't know what the answer is to that, but there's got to be some way to, I guess, limit. I guess no, because it does go by likes, right? It goes by how many likes something gets.
And so there's tons of engagements and there's tons of likes on all of those. So by definition, there's certain ones that organically fight their way to the top just because they have so many people following them. And it's sometimes, I mean, I'm still surprised at what gets 1 billion likes on Instagram and what gets no likes sometimes when you're looking there and you like see something awesome and it's got 3 likes. And then you see somebody like the 1 millionth selfie of the week, and it's like got 1,000 likes.
Well, if it's Kim Kardashian taking the selfie, that's what's going to get. That's the thing.
Yeah, but it's still like there's still different things happening on Instagram depending on age groups and depending on geographics, depending on lots of different things. And so it's still interesting to dip in there, because you never know what it is you're going to see, because it's not, people don't use it the same way. Mm-hmm. Whereas there's other social media like Facebook, I pretty much know what I'm going to see when I log into Facebook, and I see it, and it serves it up to me whether I want it or not.
What's funny about Facebook is that it stays the same yet it changes in that they like, okay, so now there are trends on Facebook, types of posts that kind of come and go. And so lately I've been seeing a lot of recommendations, a lot of people asking for recommendations. Yes. Can you tell me a good mechanic in town, or a good plumber, or a good place to go buy a burger, and that kind of stuff. I'm seeing, what else I'm seeing? There's always the links to the different stories. Like, that's part of the issue is the non-story story. There was one I said, I think I mentioned this might have mentioned this on our last podcast about, it was not an article, just a written piece about the Inhumans TV series, because now they're actually billing it as the complete series. So people are saying that, well, it's going to be canceled then, because why would they call it the complete series if they're not planning to do a second season? But I mean, there was no, other than that, there was their only source of information, the fact they've changed that wording. So there's no interviews with anybody, just a completely speculative piece of writing. And yet someone's posting it on Facebook, treating it as though it's real and it's accurate, and that's completely not the case. So I see a lot of that stuff. I see a lot of I should go on Facebook. Well,
Facebook had to hand over all those ads to
and that's another
to the
huge
Mueller
issue.
Investigation, because they because of the Russian meddling in the U.S. election.
Yeah, and
so I think they see something coming.
Well, Facebook has to tighten up its advertising. Because people spend billions of dollars on Facebook advertising and thinking that it's working for them, and it may not actually be working as well as they hoped it would.
Well, Zuckerberg recorded the video last week talking about Facebook ads, and he said from now on you'll be able to see the source of the ad, which wasn't always the case.
Yeah.
You get to see the,
well, there's always been an issue with
attached to it.
Sketchiness as far as advertising goes on Facebook. But this one, I mean, it's like the Russian, hackers or whoever it was, purchased thousands of ads, and they were disguising them as articles. Basically, it's like that whole content thing where they're pretending to be content, and people just click on them because they think, and it's some sort of article saying Hillary's a crook or whatever. And that's kind of what they did to help sway the vote. Trying to think of what else do I see here.
Politico also did an expose on Facebook ads. I mean, because you can target by interest. And so they, of course, found the absolute most repugnant interests that you could find on there. And it showed how it's a target audience that can be selected. So, I encourage people who are interested in that to check out the Politico article on it because it is interesting. But because Facebook is being dragged into the spotlight in a way that it did not wish to be,
right?
I think that's going to change what we end up seeing.
Yeah, you're right. I think they're gonna have to tighten up on those algorithms as far as the advertising goes. It is still obviously the most popular platform. Everybody's on there, but it's like probably the least fun of any. I would say I still don't have a lot of fun on Facebook. It looks
musty. It looks musty and old. It doesn't look like if you look at Snapchat, you go, well, this is a whole new way of communicating.
Yeah.
For young people. But Instagram is Instagram also has. I actually think Instagram might have the biggest range in age.
Oh, probably. Sorry, I'm actually
Did you Snapchat
I'm just Snapchatting. Yeah.
Snapchat you, but then it would just be two people sitting in silence.
Kansas Snapchat is for young people.
Like my niece, I've got young nieces in New York, and they're all over. They're one of them in particular likes Snapchat and Instagram, and the other one just likes Instagram. So it's like all the visual-based ones.
Yeah. I mean that's obviously a personal preference. It's funny actually. I just have another thing here saying that Snapchat is struggling to grow outside North America. It's very popular here, but it's struggling to grow overseas. 173 million users on Snapchat, which is not bad, I guess, considering what it is. But it's really it's not finding that audience outside of Canada, the U.S., and Mexico, I guess, that other platforms are, which is kind of interesting.
And Instagram stole its thunder a little bit.
They just blatantly ripped off their stories feature. Yeah. And I got to say, I don't use it. I didn't have a camera that worked. But I don't even look at the stories on Instagram. I never do. And they keep telling me that I should. I keep getting these prompts.
Well, once in a while I push on it by mistake, and then I'm like, what am I looking at here? It's like, and it's like another boomerang. Oh, another boomerang. Oh, another boomerang. And you get to the point, and some of those boomerangs go on forever.
Yes.
By the way, you can make it boomerang.
Yeah, there's no time limit, eh? And I'm seeing a bunch of photos from my former students who are now get to travel through Europe because
they're all in Europe, all traveling. But we'll never be out of a job because we're the only two people working in the city. That's what Instagram tells you.
It keeps telling me don't miss these stories. Like it says, as I'm scrolling through, it'll pop up in there saying. And I'm like,
that used to only be at the top, and now it's in the middle.
Yeah, so that's a pain. But again, it's still a fun app, and I think that if it's a purely good like photo or video, or you've got a funny thing to say about a thing you see, like my meatloaf post from the other day, or I just saw this. It was at Walmart, and I just saw this. It said music to go, and that's what I thought was the funny part. It's just like this is music to go. It's a CD. It's a compact disc. It's music to go.
To go, yeah.
Like as opposed to like having meatloaf come and perform. I would do anything for love, like right next to me.
To play it at Walmart.
Anyway, lots of people seem to like that. My Porg video got some play on Instagram the other day. I was at Toys R Us, and again, I know this is a Star Wars nerds thing, but the selection is still not very good for Star Wars toys. But they had the Porgs, and they were $75 each, which is pretty freaking pricey if you ask me.
That's why you saw those. That's why, because of the price. Yeah, they are expensive.
And they just make the annoying sound.
Here's a weird thing that happened on the weekend. I took a picture. So I Instagrammed a picture of me with a dinosaur outfit on, taking a knee.
Is that you on the?
That's me.
Oh, I didn't know that was you.
And I said, dinosaurs against Trump. Okay, so there I am. And I was like, this is hilarious. And I did okay. But then I took a picture of did I say against Trump? I didn't say for, did I? It was against Trump.
Yes,
yeah, against Trump. Sorry, just in case. And I thought, this is gold. It was okay. Then I took the picture of Han Solo. There I have an empty Han Solo box. Still being sold for $30 in Walmart.
Well, clearly it had been stolen, right?
Somebody stole it. Yeah. And so I said, here's evidence that Han Solo is a ghost in The Last Jedi. And to my surprise, I could have shared it on Instagram, but I don't get much play, to tell you the truth, when I post Star Wars stuff on Instagram.
Okay.
I don't get too much. I don't get hardly anything. And so I didn't bother, so I tweeted it, and people love it. They're still loving it today.
I'm still getting likes on, because you tagged me in it, so I still get notifications on that.
Yes, and they're still liking it today. And I was like, well, okay, that's pretty weird. What that shows is people are actively looking for Star Wars on Twitter, but not so much on Instagram.
Yeah. So there's different platforms for different topics. Yeah, it's really interesting how that works.
Like I would not have I'm still being surprised by what different social media, what happens on different social media.
I'm told that Instagram is very makeup is very big on Instagram. People showing their makeup.
Well,
and all
our
their
former student
Christiana has a thing. Yeah, she does that. What else on Instagram? A lot of the YouTubers are on Instagram only. They won't do Twitter, partly because Twitter. I mean, this is kind of generalization, but a lot of Twitter tends to be negative, and a lot of people that's kind of gets reported on in the media is that Twitter's just there for the trolls to berate you and to say horrible things about you, and so we see things like Ed Sheeran who quits Twitter because people didn't like him being in Game of Thrones. And
did he quit?
Yeah, he shut down his Twitter account after that. Yeah, he said it wasn't for that reason, but I'm pretty sure that's why. He's like, I was gonna quit Twitter anyway. He says, I'm like, oh come on. People did not like seeing him in Game of Thrones, myself included, but I didn't take to Twitter to shame him. I didn't care to do that.
No, I didn't.
But people do, and so that there's a lot of negativity on Twitter, which is kind of its biggest fault, I think.
Well, the other problem is it doesn't give you the preview of YouTube. It doesn't do it.
It does not play nice with others. It does not give you anything, whereas Facebook still does. Facebook will still give you that preview. They'll still give you a little bit of an image there. Although it will, again, if you post a link from YouTube, it will not do as well in the algorithm on Facebook as an actual video posted to Facebook.
I've experimented a number of times on Facebook with posting letting it pull in a video as opposed to not let it pull in a video, and it's still there's still magic behind the algorithm that we can't see. So I've seen I post my jobs and it's a pull, and I put a video on the jobs post just so it's just not my boring jobs.
Right.
So it sucks in. Yeah,
but you link
to the
video is linked into the blog post, isn't it?
Right.
Right. Okay. So that's an actual link to your website, not to YouTube.
Right. So trying all these different kinds, and you do start to see patterns of stuff working better than others.
See, but that's just a demonstration of how consistently good content draws in people as well, because you post those jobs every week around the same time, and people have come to know that you do that, and they like the post, and they comment on the post, and they share the post, and if they do that enough, then it will show up in their feed more often. That's how the algorithm
Although the
works.
weird thing is that if I check my analytics, the stuff lots of people click through on Facebook, but virtually nobody likes it or leaves a comment on Facebook, and I think it's because they don't want anyone to see they're looking for work.
That's right.
I do. Is that funny?
That's hilarious. Yeah.
So the analytics.
It's like getting caught printing off your resume at your current job. Yeah.
The analytics tell a different story. But
it's interesting.
Yeah, that's right. It is interesting. And actually, if you do start looking at analytics, and everybody should, it's easy to do.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You really start to it tells you a story about what you're doing online and what works, what doesn't work, what you can do more of.
Yes.
It's really interesting.
And we've talked about this many times. We can absolutely do a better job of marketing our podcast. We tend to just post on social media and that's it. I don't do much else.
Well, it's because we have full-time jobs. Yes, and they always say that's one of the rules of social media, which is you should be wary of somebody who's always on social media because it means they got nothing going on.
Exactly.
And that's true for us in a certain extent that we're just running around here.
I'll finish the episode, I'll post it, I'll share it on Facebook at some point. You'll usually tweet it out the next day. You'll retweet me and then tweet it out the next day.
Yeah, I usually wait a bit to give it.
To give it some space, and that's a good idea. And then I'll post it on Facebook, and then I'll share it on Facebook, and that's pretty much it. And I think that at this point, I mean, our subscribers have stayed pretty static over the last year or so. So I think that we haven't grown a whole lot, but our episodes are getting more listens.
We can
overall.
give it a boost probably later this year and stuff. And there's that's always possible.
And stuff when we do a big thing like when we record our commentary for Star Wars episodes. We should actually do it for another movie just for meat eaters. I was thinking about that. Let's watch a different movie that's not Star Wars because it's for Star Wars nerds. Let's watch a movie that we can maybe it'll be a new release. Something like Spider-Man: Homecoming, maybe that might be fun because that's coming out soon.
And I have still yet to see.
I haven't seen it either, so we could do that. That'd be fun.
I did see Wonder Woman though.
I did. Oh, what did you think of Wonder Woman?
I liked it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's the best of those movies.
It's not the best movie of all time, but it's
the best DC movie.
It
so
sure
far.
is. Yes, we're agreed.
Yes. Anyway, there was lots. I saw again. I was at Walmart this weekend, so I saw lots of merchandise and displays about Wonder Woman, and this was the weekend that it came out on video. So. Yeah, it's kind of funny. And Twitter has been stagnant. Twitter is not. They're still around. Where does it say here? Its user base in the U.S. actually declined to 68 million from 70 million, and they did not add any new monthly active users during June. This is this past June. This is an older article on CNN. So it has just been kind of just stayed the same. Twitter is not growing, and many people are crediting the kind of negativity that happens that Trump is not helping things. You know, the platform that Trump chooses to use to tweet his stupid whatever the hell he does, that's seen as negative as well, and Twitter's not really doing anything about it.
Well, what I'm finding, I mean, I am seeing so much political stuff right now on Twitter, but I don't mind it. Like, I can almost go there for it at this point.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much. There's so much to talk about.
Do you think people still don't like the 140 character limit? Do you think that's still a negative thing that people...
You can get around it.
Oh,
I mean,
for sure. I mean, but I think the common misconception out there is that, I don't want to have to worry about how many characters I'm writing. I just want to write what I want. But I love the character limit. I think it's what makes Twitter Twitter, and I have a great time rewording my tweets so that I can get everything in. Like I really spend like a good 5 minutes kind of rewriting something so I can fit what I want to say into a complete sentence and still get a link. Now I like that they took away the adding a photo or a GIF or something doesn't eat into your characters, which I like. I think that's a good move, but I just want them to keep it at that. I do not want an unlimited character.
Twitter is the one. If they took it away, I would miss it the most.
I guess so. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Well, and it's also, I mean, I took a lynda.com course over the summer on many different things, and one of the ones was Guy Kawasaki from Apple, formerly Apple employee. And now he's basically like workplace evangelist man kind of deal. And he was talking about Twitter, and he's like, when I first, and it's on lynda.com, and I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, if you were to search on Lynda for Guy Kawasaki and Twitter, I'm sure you'd find it. And he said when he first got Twitter, he was like, what's the big deal? I don't care. I don't want any of this. And then he said he started searching stuff on Twitter, and that's when he saw the value. So he talks also about, he reposts the same thing more than once, and he's like, I know it's controversial, but hey, you're only getting a segment of your viewers at a certain time, so you should actually be doing it at different times, like the same post more than once. And he's like, hey, I might only hit 20% at this time, and I'll hit 80% at the other time. So I recommend that. And he's got a really good, like, it's just a really good tutorial on Twitter. And it's true. I still think Twitter has a problem with people not knowing how to use it right. Or being afraid to use it, or for whatever reason. And I even I'll see like our students tweeting, and I'll go, wow, I haven't seen anything from them for a while. And then I'll look at the account to see, are they regularly tweeting? And they're almost always not.
No, and especially the newer students in the program who most of them are just kind of coming onto Twitter for the first time.
Yeah.
They haven't really used it very much. And now I see some great conversations happening, especially the example of the Red Lobster things that you were having your students tweet about. That's a lot of fun. Things on the Creecom hashtag have been a lot of fun to follow along with. But that doesn't happen over the summer. It only happens while we're in school.
Over the summer, but all social media dies pretty much in Winnipeg.
Like, because everyone's outside enjoying the real world.
Yeah. But I think it might even be, I think it's worse probably in Canada than other places because
we have such awful winters.
So social media prime time or prime season is like winter. And then summer there's nothing. It's like just, and that's when I have the most time to engage with it. So it's very weird. Like I posted some weird story on LinkedIn, I think this summer, on how watch something get made in a factory, and I can't remember what it was. It was just kind of a cool video, showing factory pieces putting something together,
how it's made,
right? How it's made, exactly. So I shared that, and it got some engagement only because I think there was nothing. There's nothing on there because I was just like, this is mildly amusing. And I'll put this on LinkedIn. And so to my surprise, people actually liked it. But I think that was why, because it's so dead.
Interesting.
Anything mildly amusing in summer. And
so we should post more in the summertime so we'll get some more play on our podcast. We don't do our podcast as much in the summertime either.
No, I know. Well, that's just it. There's just fewer people engaging in it. Yeah. So more people sort of looking to engage, I would say, in summertime.
One thing I think is interesting is that we haven't seen any major new players on the scene in the last little while. Mm-hmm. I guess Snapchat was the last major one to kind of make waves. Are we going to see fewer and fewer new platforms out there when it comes to social media? Are people afraid to kind of jump in because of the competition?
I was thinking about that. It's been a while, hasn't it, since there's been one that...
I mean, even like something like Periscope, it's still living, but it's pretty much done.
Yeah.
Like Periscope is Facebook Live has kind of taken the whole live streaming thing by storm. Everyone that uses Facebook Live.
Periscope is the better of the two.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that.
Just people don't use it.
Yeah.
So what's the
Periscope,
point?
Meerkat, both of those things are kind of gone.
I use Periscope when there's a boxing match on that you got to subscribe to. I want to see it for free.
Oh, we should talk about YouTube as well. My son was watching YouTube Vine compilations. Of course, we lost Vine last year.
Yeah. Too bad.
May it rest in peace. But I was watching this. Basically, someone took this one guy, a Viner, a famous guy who became famous on Vine, and basically just strung them all together into like a 20-minute video. So think about 20 minutes worth of 6 seconds clips. It's pretty annoying. It does not work well in that medium, but my son was loving it. YouTube continues to evolve, and it certainly seems that, I say my kids prefer to watch YouTube than anything else. I think that still holds true. We're seeing more and more lengthy content, so it's more about 20-minute-ish videos than 5-minute videos. Longer videos are becoming more profitable because YouTube is starting to throw ads into the middle of them now. That's becoming more and more common. I think people are really resisting that. They don't like YouTube doing that. YouTube has also come under fire recently because they've been messing with their algorithm, and people are not getting the traffic they once were because they're not being featured as much as they used to be. Everyone's urging everybody to click on the little bell next to the subscribe button so you get notifications when they upload, so you'll know when they upload, which is what I do for the ones that I do want to see new videos from. But yeah, there's no guarantee it's going to show up in your feed when you're just subscribed anymore, which used to be a given. You used to always see it. So they've changed a little bit there, and I think there's more and more people wanting to just get away from YouTube and do their own thing on a different platform, and we're starting to see that as well.
I think the era of the algorithm is upon us, and I hate it. Like I still like choosing my own stuff. I don't need. I mean, it's what keeps you sharp.
Yeah,
is looking through the tweets and so Twitter gives you a little bit of featured tweets. And I don't mind that, but if it was more than that, it would drive me crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then it's not good for new people on Twitter because they should have an opportunity to have their tweets read as well.
Yes.
And so that you fall into that issue.
Yeah.
Or whoever paid the most gets their comments seen, so the algorithm and even streaming songs we've talked about.
By the way, I was using Spotify when I was on the Android. Yeah. And I didn't like it as much. Apple Music is way better than Spotify. Really? I think it is anyway, just because it seems to be more customized to me. It remembers what I like. But I do search out certain bands that I want to listen to and listen to them. And of course, I've been able to watch the James Corden Carpool Karaoke series, which is not as entertaining as you would think.
No, it's not.
It's a funny 5-minute bit for the show, but to go 20 minutes, some of them I'm only interested. It's like comedians in cars getting coffee. It all depends on the guest.
Right.
And this one, it's not even him. He's not even in every episode. It's he hosts the first one with Will Smith, and then it's Billy Eichner and Metallica, and it's like a different person with a musical guest. One was John Legend and what's her name from she's on The Voice. I'm blanking on her name.
Oh, Aguilera?
No, the other one.
Oh, yeah, her.
I keep on falling.
Yeah, Gwen Stefani.
No. Anyway, don't worry.
I was going to sing Hollaback, but now I won't.
Ain't no Hollaback girl. Okay. Anyway, it's okay. I haven't watched it all, but it depends on the guest. So
now I want to know who the person is on The Voice.
Oh,
I don't
come
know.
on. I'll have to look it up now. I can just launch my handy music app, and it's right there. It's an interesting. I wonder if Apple's going to get into the original content game with this kind of stuff. Because they seem to have this is a show only available on Apple Music. You can watch it streaming on your computer, on your phone, or on Apple TV. So more and more, I wonder if they're going to start doing original productions like everybody else. Alicia Keys is the one I was thinking of.
Oh, Alicia Keys, right. Well, they certainly want to control what it is that we're viewing. There's no doubt. That's what that TV app is. That TV app just popped up on my Apple TV the other day too, and it's just, I don't know. I don't think I need it. I don't think I need it to remind me what I still need to watch. I think I know. And the thing is, if I forget, then who cares? That probably means I wasn't that into it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, and you don't know. Someone's probably just paying it to tell you that, paying Apple to say, "Hey, watch the Orville."
I know I've got 17 episodes of Ken Burns' Vietnam War sitting on my
Yes. Yeah.
And that's going to take me the next 17 years to watch it. Why am I still recording it?
I don't know.
I am. I continue.
Well,
to record
you'll get through it eventually when there's nothing else on.
I'll recommend it probably on next week's Media Nerds.
Speaking of recommendations, we should probably get there. Let's start with you. What would you like to recommend to people this week?
Oh, as usual, there's so much to recommend. It's getting ridiculous. Do you have one loaded?
I do.
Up?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. You go first because I gotta think about which one.
This is a series. It's a TV series. It's on Netflix. It's called Timeless, and it was on. I don't remember what network it was on last year. I think NBC. And it was a time travel show buried in a deluge of time travel shows. Last season for TV, it was like the big thing was having a show about time travel. And I usually like that kind of subject matter. I do like Legends of Tomorrow. I did watch Travelers, which was another time travel kind of theme show. But I missed this one just because there was too much, and I didn't look good to me. But it is on Netflix, and I think it's been renewed for a second season because Wikipedia said it was canceled. Then it somehow the decision was overturned. So I think it's coming back for another season. And I've been watching that on Netflix, and it's actually pretty good. I'm quite enjoying it. It's more focused on American history than anything else. It's about this, they invent a time machine. There's like Elon Musk-esque kind of guy who owns the company. He invents all kinds of stuff. And it's played by the actor. Do you remember the guy from, I don't remember his name now, Dwayne, I think his name was from The Leftovers, that British actor. He was the guy who was like would heal people by hugging them.
Yeah,
you remember that guy?
I do.
He is like the eccentric billionaire owner of it.
Oh.
And
I've seen previews for it. Yeah.
And the other actors are no name, like you wouldn't recognize them for anything else. But it's actually a pretty good cast overall. Matt Frewer's in it. And Max Headroom himself is in it. He plays. He's not in every episode, but he's got a semi-regular part. So it's about this guy. They steal a time machine. The terrorists or whatever steal a time machine. They're going back in time. They're trying to sabotage American history to get at this kind of conspiracy organization called Rittenhouse, which is like this kind of, it's an Illuminati kind of thing where they're controlling everything. And so they go back to like the Revolutionary War. They go back to Vietnam, Watergate. They go back to what else? They go to the 30s, like pretty much every kind of part of the World War II, of course. And it's kind of fun. It's a fun show. I'm a big history buff, so I do enjoy this, and I'm hooked into the storyline. So I'm about 2/3 done the first season, and I hope that it airs. I don't know when it's going to air again, but I am definitely noticing a new marketing tactic from studios or for networks is to release the earlier seasons on Netflix, so people hopefully will catch up and then watch it live when it's on. The other one that's on there that I haven't watched yet is The Good Place, which has been apparently been amazing. It's the one about the woman who goes to heaven. It's got Ted Danson and I don't remember her name. The other girl,
Shelley Long.
Shelley Long. That's right. It's reuniting Sam and
Diane.
I
wish that's what it was.
No, I can't remember her name. Kristen something or other. Anyway, that's what I recommend. It's called Timeless. It's on Netflix. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it.
Excellent. And I know what I'm going to recommend because I was so surprised. And that is I recorded some of the films that we could not see for the Oscars.
Oh.
I have been recording as they show up on the movie channel for free.
Right.
And just on the, like, hey, in case there's a day when there's nothing to watch, I'll knock one of these out. And yesterday, of all things, I decided, I'll just put on the first 20 minutes of La La Land. And that's all I had. All I had was 20 minutes. I got to get out of here. Dinner plans. Right. I got to get out of here. So I put it on, and I was thinking, yeah, the way you want to watch La La Land is like 20 minutes at a time, probably. That's probably plenty. And to my astonishment, I actually loved the first 20 minutes. Like, I loved it. Like, I didn't just go, wow, that's promising. I watched it, and I went, it's freaking great.
Okay.
And I lost interest in it because you couldn't see it before the Oscars. And then there was the whole mix-up. Right. With Midnight.
So should it have one Best Picture?
It was like,
have you seen Moonlight? Did you see Moonlight?
Yeah, I did, and I loved it.
Okay, so better than Moonlight?
Well, this is where I'm leaving it. I found the first 20 minutes to be fabulous. Then I saw a family member last night, and I said to her, "Have you seen La La Land?" She said, "No, I didn't." I went, "I'll be damned. The first 20 minutes is great." And she's like, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah." Today she texts me and she says, "I'm watching La La Land. It's fantastic." and it's sort of, and that opening scene, I think it's good. And if you're all in, if you watch it and you like it, I think you're all in.
Okay.
At that point. I think if you watch that opening scene and it's not for you, then maybe none of it's for you. But it was for me. I've only seen 20 minutes, and there's still like 2 hours to go or something.
So you still watch rest tonight, I guess, when you get home.
I can't. Well, maybe tonight, maybe another 20 minutes tonight. I don't know if I want to overdo it, but I have to say the beginning was fantastic, and I have to say that I was a stick in the mud, and I was wrong for not wanting to watch it.
But I agree with you. Like, not having it available to us before the Oscars, that's when I would have watched it. I mean, I would have paid to rent it, no problem, if it had been on iTunes or another rental platform. But having it like only in the theaters, I'm not going to go out and see a movie like that in the theaters just because it's not worth it to me. With the cost and everything. Plus, just getting away from the kids for that time. Like, we go. My wife likes horror movies, so when we go to the movies, we go to see It or Mother, not La La Land necessarily. So they should make these available to us. Just put them out on iTunes. You know what I mean? Just put them out so we can rent it. And
have the Oscar package and hey, rent.
None of this bull about having to like buy it. Like I hate them doing that. Like right now, you can buy Spider-Man: Homecoming. You can't rent it. You could buy it for $30 on digital on iTunes, but it's like, come on, like I would rather rent it now and then be able to buy it later, because that's when I'm going to make the decision whether or not I want to watch the movie. So there's, I don't know. Anyway, so that's a topic for another podcast.
If Apple TV gave us packaged it with the Oscar-nominated Best Picture films and said $50 for all of them,
sure,
I'm in.
Yeah,
like
$5 a movie, sure.
Exactly. Let's do it. Sign me up.
Yeah.
So I think. Maybe if that's what this new TV app is going to do for Apple, then I'm in.
It's not about Apple. It's about the movie industry refusing to let go of the theater model, and that's kind of the issue. But we will talk about that another day, probably closer to the Oscars. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Media Nerds Podcast. Go to MediaNerdsPodcast.com for our full podcast, blog, and social media channel.